The VP comes to Missouri, stumping for the Democrat, trying to take down longtime politician and Senator Roy Blunt. Good evening, I'm Max Deeknight.
And I'm Jim Rake. Thanks for joining us. It's part of the Democratic Party's push to retake the U.S. Senate. KOMU 8's Rose Schmidt is just back from St. Louis with a recap of the rally.
Yeah, Max, Jim, it was a packed house at the pageant in St. Louis. Although the rally was for Democratic candidate Jason Kander, we saw support for Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine as well. Now, during their speeches, both Kander and Biden stressed the importance of addressing the issues of the middle class and meeting needs of veterans. Using these topics, Kander highlighted similarities he sees between himself and Biden.
Vice President Biden is somebody who is proof that just because you go to Washington doesn't mean you become Washington.
Vice President Biden says that if Kander is elected, he will be part of a new generation in Congress, the millennials.
The FBI released a letter to Congress after finding new Hillary Clinton emails. Republican candidate Donald Trump campaigned today in Maine, saying he hopes justice will be served. The FBI did not say whether it would reopen a formal investigation into Clinton's email server, but according to Trump, they did just that.
As you might have heard earlier today, the FBI after discovering new emails, is reopening their investigation into Hillary Clinton. I have great respect for the FBI for righting this wrong.
So the American people deserve to get the full and complete facts immediately. The director himself has said he doesn't know whether the emails referenced in his letter are significant or not.
Clinton was in Iowa today, where she urged the FBI to immediately release the full facts surrounding newly discovered emails. There's only 11 days until Election Day, and both candidates say they're aware that it could go either way.
It seems like wherever you look, there are campaign signs everywhere. KOMU 8's Abby Breidenbach is live in Columbia to tell us about another sign that's catching attention.
That's right. A sign outside of this house here on Worley Street is causing many drivers to slow down. It reads, "Drive like your kids live here." The kids who live here told me they're afraid and not even allowed to play in the front yard. Their mom said that's because drivers are going up to 50 miles an hour just outside their house. The legal speed limit is actually 30 miles per hour on this stretch of Worley, and the concerned mom who lives here hopes she's making a difference by posting that sign.
My hopes are to actually get attention from drivers that there are children that live here, and maybe they'll take into consideration, what if that was my child playing outside? Would I want somebody driving that fast past them right next to our house?
Muse actually told me there are political signs all over this street that she sees being kicked down just about every day, and the sign that she put in her front yard is the only one that has always remained standing. Reporting live in Columbia, Abby Breidenbach, KOMU 8 News.
Mid-Missourians are getting free smoke alarms from the American Red Cross. It's part of the Home Fire Campaign, a program to reduce the number of injuries and deaths caused by home fires. The program manager reminds us to check alarm batteries at least once a year. And remember, smoke detectors are usually good for about 10 years.
It doesn't matter if the beeper's still working, that just says you've changed the battery. The detector won't work more than 10 years. So if you've had them more than 10 years, you need new ones.
You can register to get up to 3 free smoke alarms per home installed by the Red Cross. They're giving them out based on need.
At least 8 people are hurt after a plane caught on fire at O'Hare International Airport in Chicago today. The Federal Aviation Administration says the flight was preparing to take off from Miami when it was engulfed in flames and smoke. Pilots aborted takeoff and passengers evacuated the plane. Officials say the plane experienced engine malfunction, but they are continuing to investigate.
Here's what's happening right now. 3 people are in the hospital after a rollover crash. A woman was driving northbound on Highway 63 near the Boone-Callaway County line. She lost control of her car. It flipped over. The Ashland Assistant Fire Chief says all 3 people had minor injuries.
They all had minor injuries on scene. Of course, they'll do further checking when they get up to the hospital, but everybody was very stable according to the crews on scene.
One lane of Highway 63 was closed. Traffic was back to normal by 9 p.m.
Tonight, students, faculty, and staff and community members gathered at MU for a celebration discussion about race and the protests that happened on campus just a year ago. KOMU 8's Laura Barczewski is in the studio to tell us what faculty and students hope to accomplish.
The university invited Dr. Mark Lamont Hill to facilitate the discussion because of his background in activism and academic standing. Chair of the Black Studies Department, Dr. Stephanie Shonikin, says she hopes this discussion will reframe the narrative and the image of the events that happened last year. First, the event started with music and poetry and then moved to a brief introduction by Dr. Hill. He said it is important to understand the past but not be prisoners of the event, and hopes the discussion will continue to move forward on campus. We were not allowed to film during his talk and discussion, but here is what a member of Concerned Student 1950 had to say before the event.
I think it's important to reflect on what we did then, what can we have done better, and what can we continue to do for progress for diversity and inclusion.
People got a chance to talk about their feelings and thoughts surrounding the protests last year, as well as the current campus climate.
Well, it was pretty warm today, but a little breezy as well. Let's send it over to Michael to see if it will cool down for the weekend.
Thank you, Max, and good evening, everyone. As Max mentioned, a very warm day out there today. How warm? Let's take a look at our weather almanac for today. Warming up to a high of 82 degrees with usually average high temperature is right around 63 for this time of year. Record high, 85 degrees set back in 1927. So we were close to a record high today. As we take a look at current temperatures right now, we're still awfully warm out there. 71 degrees in Columbia, 72 in Jefferson City. And those temperatures aren't going to fall back too much tonight. The other big story is the wind. Very breezy conditions out there still from the southwest at about 12 miles an hour. And as we look at the forecast for this weekend, those warm and breezy conditions at least continue for Saturdays. We'll see temperatures up near 84 degrees, 20 degrees above average for this time of year. And we're still above average for Sunday, but much cooler at 72 degrees. We'll take a look at your Mizzou homecoming forecast as well as your Halloween forecast coming up later in the show.
How a man gained resources at a disability fair that will help him live a high quality of life after getting hurt.
Plus, after more than a decade of helping the community, a Columbia organization hosts its first open house. Mid-Missourians will get the help they need for a more successful life after today's annual Community Resource Fair. The event provided information on housing, employment, and health resources for those with disabilities. Talking books for the visually impaired and phones for the hard of hearing were also on display. We talked to a Mid-Missouri newcomer who tore his rotator cuff and was looking for help.
A lot of it is for people with disabilities, and I kind of fall in that category, but I don't not looking for that. I'm looking for more like vocational rehab, which I got to talk to those folks, and they help put you back in the workforce. So.
The fair also offered free spinal exams, posture checks, and glaucoma screenings.
An organization that helps at-risk families has been in Columbia for more than 5 years, but just held its first public event today. First Chance for Children held a fall open house to bring families together for Halloween festivities and show the community the resources the organization actually provides. It provides care items, safe cribs, and home visitations to the families they serve. It also has a Lend and Learn toy library that's open to all kids younger than 3 to play with and borrow toys.
And on this Halloween weekend, what you need to know to keep kids safe from allergies. That's coming up.
Welcome back to KOMU 8 News at 10. We're taking a look at the time lapse over Rocheport, over the Missouri River. A beautiful start to our day with the sunrise. Not a lot of clouds in the sky today. Clear skies, but very warm temperatures, warming up to a high of 83 degrees in Rocheport at about 4:30 this afternoon. The sun set around 6:30. Temperatures really haven't cooled off that much. Still at 71 degrees. That's actually higher than our high temperature that's supposed to be in the afternoon. Usually we're about at 62 degrees. And warm temperatures are going to be the big story this weekend as well. Some very breezy conditions. Wind gusts as high as 24 miles an hour tomorrow afternoon. Those do die down a little bit on Sunday, but we are going to see still warm temperatures and well above temperatures for this time of the year. We're 17 degrees warmer than where we were at this point last night. So we're already starting to feel that heat outside right now. As I mentioned, it is going to continue for this weekend. And it's all because of a high pressure system that's down to our southeast, bringing up warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico. And we had that warm front push through the area yesterday, and that's why we're feeling so warm. But notice a cold front right up to our north, and that's going to push through actually Sunday morning, cooling us off, but not cooling us off down to where we're supposed to be for this time of the year. And with that, we'll take a look at our precip cast. No precip this weekend. We're going to stay dry, but we are going to be warm, as you can see. Maybe a little bit of cloud cover Saturday afternoon, and you can kind of see off to the northwest that front beginning to move into the Show Me State. And by Sunday morning, we are going to kind of see that line begin to kind of build. You can kind of see right there at 8 a.m. that'll begin to move through the area. Again, no rain with this system, but it is going to cool us off a little bit. And we're actually going to see lots of cloud cover for our Sunday, mostly cloudy skies. And then as we head into the day on Monday, we'll warm up a little bit. Again, what does it do for our temperatures? We're back in the 80s for our high temperature tomorrow. And then again, as we head into Sunday, that's when that front begins to move through. You can see that. And again, you can kind of see the temperature gradient, 64 in Osage Beach, 57 up in Chillicothe. So again, not a huge temperature difference, but we're only going to warm up into the mid 70s for a high. high on Sunday afternoon. And then as we go back into Monday, that's when temperatures warm back up. And you can see right around time trick-or-treating starts for Monday afternoon. We'll still be right around 73 degrees in Jefferson City. And again, big football game tomorrow for the Mizzou Tigers. Early kickoff. That might be good if you don't like those warm temperatures for the game. Right around kickoff, 70 degrees. By the end of the game, though, we're back up near 80. But the wind will be a factor for those kickers tomorrow in that game, with wind gusts up to 25 miles an hour. Tonight, we're only getting down to 62 degrees. The average high temperature we're supposed to have for this time of the year is 62 degrees. So our low, it's all out of whack right now. So 62 for that low. And again, breezy conditions continue, and they will continue into tomorrow with a high of about 84 degrees with warm and breezy conditions. Mostly sunny skies, though. And as we look at the forecast for Sunday, more clouds roll in, and we will be cooler, 72 degrees for a high. And then as we look at Monday, a high of 82 degrees for Halloween. Going to be a warm night. Won't need to put that coat underneath your costume for Monday. But again, above average temperatures this entire week. Still comfortable. We're back in the 70s for Wednesday and back into the upper 60s for Thursday and Friday. Another chance for rain on Wednesday and Thursday as well.
You know, last few days of October in football, you're thinking about cold weather and, I got to bundle up. And
first day of November on Tuesday, 77 degrees.
All right, Michael, thanks.
Here's a look at your lottery numbers. Good luck. It's Halloween weekend, and today is National Chocolate Day, but some kids do not get the luxury of eating it. KOMU 8's Felicia Lee took a look into how to help children with allergies avoid disappointment while trick-or-treating.
Halloween means candy to most children, but what if that candy could be deadly? Food allergies are becoming more common in children, possibly making trick-or-treating a life-or-death situation.
Those simple foods could kill my kids.
Teal Pumpkin Project is a campaign to raise awareness about the risk of allergens in Halloween candy. You can get free printables like this one on the Teal Pumpkin Project website, then hang it in your window to let kids know that they can stop by.
A glow stick, a little ring, anything like that. A kid will like it.
Making those kids feel included is something that the parents are really going to thank you for.
Both moms told me others seem to think they're ungrateful for not taking the candy they're offered, but both said that's not the case.
It's scary as a mom, and it's given me lots of anxiety about sending them even to daycare.
A local allergist says it's very important kids with severe allergies do not come in contact with harmful foods.
They're not doing it just to be rude or funny. They actually could have such a severe reaction that it kills them, particularly if they don't happen to have their auto-injectable epinephrine or their EpiPen nearby.
Despite the food allergies, though, both families plan to go trick-or-treating, but do it safely. Felicia Lee, KOMU 8 News, Columbia.
According to the organization that created the Teal Pumpkin campaign, about 1 out of 13 children has a food allergy. That's about 2 children in every classroom. For more information about the Teal Pumpkin Project and how you can participate, visit our website, KOMU.com.
District playoff games all across mid-Missouri tonight. We've got highlights next in sports.
From the Ford Sports Desk, KOMU 8 Sports.
District playoff football across mid-Missouri. Just one Columbia team playing at home this week. I don't know about you, but let's jump right into it. Coach Conyers and the Spartans going for their third straight district title, taking on Raytown. Raytown with a big win last week. No Javon McQuitty for the Spartans tonight, but looks like, well, they wouldn't need him. First quarter, Hunter Smith breaks a 35-yard run, rumbling down the sidelines. Opening score, failed a two-point conversion, but it's 6-0 Spartans. Second quarter, Brevin Tyler, wearing McQuitty's number, getting it done just like McQuitty. 50 yards for the score, all the way down that sideline. 12-0 battle early. Raytown would actually come back to take a lead going into the half, but the Spartans' offense absolutely exploded again. Final 24 minutes here. It's Hunter Smith again, 26 yards out. Battle would take the lead and not look back as they roll past Raytown, 44-13. Jeff City on the road taking on the Blue Springs Wildcats. Jeff City with a big win over Blue Springs South. Chase Donahoe looking for Caleb Marquez. Can't come up with the play. Good defense there by the Jays. That would lead to a field goal. And Dink off the upright, no good, keeping the score tied 0-0 after a strip fumble recovery. Jays defense not enough. Wildcats, and they would convert as Marquez runs it in on the QB keeper. Wildcats ahead 7-0. They'd go on to win 56-46. Fulton taking on Blair Oaks in this head-to-head matchup. Two mid-Missouri teams squaring off. Late in the first quarter, Blair Oaks' Nolan Hare with a touchdown pass to Braden Pritchett. Puts on the nice move, and he'll get in for the score. Blair Oaks leads 12-0. Still in the first, Blair Oaks, Jake Van Ronslin cruising into the end zone for his second score of the night to increase the Falcon lead to 18-0. Fulton would get on the board here with a touchdown pass from Devin Masick to Latrayvon Vaughn, but Blair Oaks, they would continue their undefeated season with a 42-6 victory over Fulton. Elias Crusaders at Atkins Stadium, home of the Jefferson City Jays for districts. First quarter, Blake Veltrop takes the pitch, rumbles at 13 yards for the early score, and Elias leads 7-0. It'd be a huge day, though, for Caleb Davis, number 32. You better get used to seeing that number. 33 yards for the score. He puts up Elias big, and here he is again, 40 yards on the keeper. Elias. Davis scores 3 times in a huge blowout, 63-28 as the Crusaders advance. Osage also hosting Eldon, the 63rd meeting between the two teams. Osage got the better of Eldon earlier on in the season, 32-6. Trenton Kidwell takes it in from 1 yard out. It's his second week back from a broken fibula, not bad. 7-0 Eldon. Osage responds though, Dalton DePee into the end zone from 20 yards out. Game tied at 7. We got dinosaurs in the crowd even. Eldon starts to run away with it. Austin Kempker goes 30 yards to the house, but the Mustangs close this one. It was a close one, 39-36 Eldon. Centralia, Panthers playing host to Clopton Ellsbury. First quarter, Jackson Evans runs on a 15-yard score there. Extra point no good. Panthers lead 6-0. Evans rushed for 136 yards on the night. Later on, it's Zach Townsend. Check out this play. He fools the cameraman even, scores 30 yards out. They would convert the 2-point conversion, making up that extra point miss. 14-0 now. Townsend rushed for 102 yards himself. Now second quarter, Centralia up 22-0. Evans scored his second rushing touchdown of the game. Centralia led 43 at half, and they go on to take it 46-16. Christian taking on Southern Boone. Christian with the upset over Mexico last week, but first quarter, Southern Boone eager to not make that happen. Colton Shoup takes the end around off to the races. 42 yards, makes it 14-7 Soboco. Here come the Eagles of Christian though. Krishna Mays hauls in the touchdown grab, knotted up at 14. Back and forth matchup. Spencer Taggart finally finds Clay Jeffrey, and he breaks this one wide open. 56 yards for the score as Soboco wins 56-35. They'll move on as well. Undefeated South Callaway hosting Herman for the second round of the playoffs. Game starts off sloppy and slow with 3 turnovers in 3 possessions, starting with a fumble recovery by Herman. However, Herman gives it, well, right back. South Callaway with Braden Sconsi's interception. And why not give a little bit of love to his mom there? Nice hug. Herman eventually scores on a 5-yard touchdown run. Wide receiver Brandon Ashley late in the first half. Herman holding off South Callaway, giving them their first loss of the season, 26-20. And finally, the West Rand Hornets hosting Sweet Springs. Hornets coming off a dominant win over Slater last week. They're looking to start strong again tonight. Sophomore running back Alex Young takes the handoff, pops it outside, and nobody's going to catch him. 50 yards for the score. West Rand up 6-0 early in the first. He was not done there. This time on the receiving end as Austin Sears finds one, the little end around, makes a juke, past the defender. He'll take it 30 yards down that sideline. West Rand, the Hornets, get the win, 53-7. Some other scores, Tolton falls to Brentwood, ending their season 42-8. And Hannibal beats up on the Spartans, 49-14. Marceline as well. The Tigers, yes, getting the best of the Fayette Falcons, 55-6. And then Macon over Palmyra. What a game. Final, 28-21 in overtime. Rolla bests Union, 35-14. And Belton beats Smith Cotton after the Tigers knocked off the Cupies last week. Mizzou basketball fans are hoping this season is, well, a treat rather than a trick like last year with 10 wins. Both the men's and women's teams kicking off their season tonight with Halloween and hoops gave the public the chance to see the Tigers in action. And that's Kim Anderson getting out of a coffin. Not too bad, Mr. Anderson. Three-point contest, all sorts of scrimmages, everything going on. Dunk contest, beautiful behind or through the legs there. And then Jordan Barnett over Truman. Can we really say over Truman? He kind of took out his head there. That's not really fair to Truman. Sophie Cunningham also a contestant for the dunk contest, as the men's Tigers will play their first game next Friday against UCM. And that'll do it for sports.